Hey guys, and we're back. Welcome to another episode of Raw Truth. We're just gonna drop all the bombs on life, and today we're actually doing a really deep episode, an episode that I think a lot of you will resonate with and just want to hear more about. We're talking all about love and relationships. So basically, like, stepping into relationships. How do you know when you're ready to attract that person in? How do you even attract that person that you desire into you? How should you be operating and living in this world to attract your ideal soulmate, ideal relationship, ideal person into your life? And we're gonna really touch on, Karen's gonna share a lot about this, about heartbreak. And yes, heartbreak sucks and it hurts, but how do you get over that? And how do you use it as a breakthrough to up-level yourself and hit that next point in your life? All this on today's episode of Raw Truth, so stick around.
Alright, so first of all, if you've been alone for like maybe a really long time, like 2, 3, 4 years, and you haven't had connection or intimacy with someone, or even gone on a date with someone, and you want to, but you haven't. So there's two things. One, putting yourself out there more to do that, if that's what you want to do. And that might mean within yourself fighting some insecurities, or, you know, just showing up on a date that brings some people anxiety just to show up, and, you know, just the expectation and the pressure behind that stops people. And, you know, even in socially in a bar or a concert, you see someone that you think's good looking or you might be attracted to, but, you know, the fear of rejection stops you, or the fear of humility stops you from going up and engaging and talking to that person. Mm-hmm. So that's one, is the boundary is recognizing, I want this, I need to get past this because I want to be more open, and I want to just meet people and see if that person's the right person for me. Because if you aren't that way, or you're a little bit shy, the first person and you have this want and this desire, the first person that comes to you, you're going to grip on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you attract the wrong people if you have that energy behind it, or that intention of, like, desperate, like, you need it, then you're going to attract someone who's also vibrating at that same frequency of desperate and, like, wanting that need. I think that when people, I have, just, like, going into, like, what really brought me to talk about this is, like, I have friends who are in relationships that aren't serving them in a positive way, and then they're explaining to me all their stress and how, like, they just feel really heavy. And it's my point of view, it's like, why even bother with it? Like,
because the fear for being alone for them is greater than all the toxic arguing, and so people have such a fear of being alone that they're willing to endure
the suffering,
a lot of the suffering and the argument. And, you know, it doesn't even need to be that. Like I said, you could be in that relationship and just not know how to make it synchronize peacefully, right? Or it could be that one is sort of growing faster than the other, and at that moment you need to reassess, does this person have that potential to catch up or to be aligned with you? Or is this something you need to just sit down for a minute, take some alone time, okay, because that's really maybe what you're craving or what you're thirsty for. Just as if you've been single for a long time, you can crave that need for connection. Well, when you've been in a relationship for a long time, it can be the opposite, where you just want your own space and you want to be alone, and you want to, you know, just kind of not be constantly consumed with the thoughts of the relationship. You want a chance to think about yourself, and kind of really whether this is something that's got longevity, or something that you want to maybe, you know, just take a break from and pick it up later. Like, you just need to be, again, just being honest with yourself, knowing what it is that's driving you to want the relationship. Is it from your lack of something that you feel like, I need something to be complete, right? Or is it from, you know, you don't feel like you know where to go or any drive unless you've got that person with you.
How do you identify with those things? So sometimes people can become mesmerized by certain things the relationship brings, whether that's like sex, or whether that's just like the satisfaction of, like, to other people being like, oh, my boyfriend, or oh, my girlfriend, or like an ego thing. So how do you detach from the ego to get into more of, like,
It's
your soul and like
it's
what you need.
knowing. So when I'm saying being honest with yourself, what I'm really saying is knowing your worth. So your worth as far as how you want to be treated and respected, and what kind of a relationship you want to have, like how fun and joy you want it to be. You also want it to teach and grow you. There's no perfect relationship, even friendships, right? At the realest level, especially when you're talking about love, it's very difficult to be like, that person meets this, meets this, meets this, meets this, and then yeah, sure, you can go and find that, but you're not going to have that love feeling.
How do you identify what love is and what not
you
love?
You can't identify love in the sense of just some words. Love is a feeling, and it's a draw, it's a pull, but it's also, it hangs out with lust, it hangs out with your own needs that you're confusing for love.
I feel like a lot of millennials in particular, like, they have trouble differentiating, like, oh, this is love, when it really isn't, because they haven't had that much experience.
So love is, it's a whole umbrella, right? Love at its core deep self, you're talking about unconditional love with a stranger or someone outside of your family, is a choice. It's a choice. It's saying unconditionally, no matter what you do, you are fuck up proof to me. Okay, you could get a drug addiction, you could get a this, you could cheat on me 1,000,000 times. That's that unconditional love, right? To give that, if you're meant to be a person that has this unconditional love, can still come with boundaries, because that should be an equal exchange. All right, and then that person that you're exchanging that unconditional love with, you're knowing within that the love that you have for them is so superior, and they've respected and earned that love from you. It's not something that you can just give that immediately. And I know this for a fact, because this is actually a lesson that I learned, to not just give out. You have to have caution. Caution is very important, and it can also kind of buffer not the love, but the sense of love, like the butterflies, this is it, go 100, 1,000, blind, right? So caution can put a buffer in, and it doesn't mean that you say no, or you're judgmental. No, he did this. No, she did that. No, it's not about judging what they're doing, but caution is about paying attention to that person in such a way that you're looking at their patterns, and whether that's something you can synchronize with. And whether, like I said, they're going to be flawed within those patterns, they're going to make mistakes, they might even hurt you. But they're not coming from a place of wanting to hurt you. They're coming from a place of their own pain, which a lot of people already have inside them.
I want to tap into this. So I know this happens a lot, like, say, like, one person cheats on someone, and then they're like, no, babe, but I love you. And then, like, they do it again. How do you differentiate, like, how do you know when to draw the line with the boundaries?
That's such a good question, because let's say we take that example, someone cheating on you. Is that person, it's not just they're cheating on you, there are many examples, right? It could be someone that has a sex addiction.
Or they lied to you, or something like...
You have to understand that person first. If you just react off of that person's flaws, okay? I was coaching this girl, and I had a similar circumstance where everything that her partner did was a pain, right? She was so in pain from what he did in the beginning, that he could have just done something wrong, and she was looking at it like as if, oh, but he didn't do that for me. Oh, but he moved the magazine. Oh, he knows I like the magazine like that. She's looking at everything that's empty of what he's not doing. All right, so in that case, this person's, all they're doing is being themselves, right? So at the beginning, when you're assessing, so you're looking at these things like, this is great, I love it how he moves the magazine there. It's so cool, it's so different to how I am, yay. After time, you're like, why does he move the magazine there? That annoys me, and he knows it every time. Right, so you actually shift. So you shift out of the state of lust to getting to a truer thing of this annoys me and this doesn't. So within your answer your question more directly, you have to be able to see yourself and see, oh, this is me being this way. It could be because I'm deeply unsatisfied, and so it's coming out like this, but also knowing to have acceptance of who you're with. If you choose that person and you're really giving it a true shot, You have to give it a true shot with complete, like, no expectations. I'm just giving you a shot. I have acceptance of who you are, what you're going to show, how you're going to deliver, and give it that for 6 months. Just go 100 with no, don't lose yourself, but still be really immersed and present with that person. And then once you've done that 6 months, then you can look and say, oh, this is how I feel. As opposed to the first, second, third date week, you're like, I'm living with this person forever, this is my that. That's a lot of expectation to have on that person of perfection. That you've called from the first few weeks perfection.
I think a lot of this stems, like Karen said, it's all about knowing yourself and really knowing what you truly want. And this actually jumps into something I really want to touch on. I feel like some people can jump into, at any age, you can jump into a relationship when you're not truly ready because you haven't really discovered it and you don't really truly know what you need. Like, you're not fulfilled. Maybe you're jumping into this relationship to fill something missing within you, or you think it's going to be the missing puzzle piece to your perfect life. So, pre-relationship, how do you know when you're ready to open yourself up to love into a relationship?
I love that question because it's the wrong question. So you don't know when you're ready to open yourself up for love. You should
or not love, but like enter a relationship. Like, how do you know, like...
You have no boundaries of knowing when and not and whenever. It's not knowing. You're just this being that goes through life. At the right time, that right being is going to be aligned with you and you're going to know it in that moment. And you're going to jump on and you're going to go.
But what if you just do it because you think it's going to make you happy?
You're going to hit your head and feel suffering.
Exactly.
Again
so
and again and again until you, like, get it.
So how do you know, like, okay, this is, like, I'm ready to be in a relationship, or no, I need to do the internal work first and be okay being alone?
Well, you should forever be doing the internal work.
Yeah, but someone who hasn't.
So someone who hasn't done the internal work?
Yeah, but they're just, like, in desperate need for a relationship. How would you tell them to, like, okay,
I would
let's
say
do the internal work?
Exactly.
How?
So the internal work
How do you be okay with being alone within that?
So doing the internal work is starting off with self-awareness. So looking at yourself and seeing about yourself, like, what is it? Why do I feel this, like, empty? Like, why am I not full? Like, what am I not being able to bring myself? Because let me tell you, whatever you can't bring yourself, there's no way you can bring it for somebody else. All right? So you've got to be able to first, like, look at yourself and be like, and then enjoy the process of starting to work on yourself and fill yourself up. Whether it's through your own career or through your own friendships or being able to be social, if that's what you need or lack or desire, through whatever you need and fill yourself up full of riches, it'll come to you. You cannot predict when that person comes in your life.
I know, in a way I was going to say is to, like, really embody this experience is be like, by me doing this, I'm going to attract the man or woman of my dreams because that's just what I'm going to welcome in and attract because I'm doing this work. So, like, that's like a mindset shift I would say if you want to do this work, but it's hard or it's not fun or you just want, like, a relationship right now. Tell yourself, like, by you doing this, it's not only going to serve and uplift you, but it's going to welcome exactly what you need.
So that's on the present. On the future is what you need to start doing is visualizing what you want to feel in a relationship. So not the tick boxes, all right? Not like good looking.
I feel like people do that.
It's like, think about how
this, like, millennials, like, they gotta have fat wallets.
Think about how you want to feel
yeah.
and, like, what type of a connection you want to have. Like, vision you in this ghost, right? And going through life, rolling through life together. What do you want to do? Do you want to see yourselves going in the library together and reading?
Yeah,
do you want to see yourselves jumping out of planes together? Do you want to see yourself building a family? What type of husband or wife characteristics do you want that person to have? And just not from a tick box, from a feeling of, like, wow, it's something beautiful. Like it's a beautiful, like you're painting on a canvas of what you want it to look and feel without, like I said, like money and all these things. Like, those things is too broad. You say you want them to be wealthy, you get a serial killer that's wealthy. Like, you get looks and you get, like, the most crooked, horrid, negative person they're attracting to, and they're absolutely drop dead gorgeous. right? So it's going to cause you suffering if you choose to pick your partners through looks or through financial gain or through whatever they can aid and help your life with, because that's not pure. That's not pure connection, pure love, and it's through force. So organic love, that real true, where you're going to learn and grow through the love that you're going to experience a heartbreak with for, that's what's worth it. It's worth diving into something that's worth, that you know this is going to break your heart at the end of the day, but it's worth it. And the broken heart is just the feeling, because that's what you're going to, again, grow from. They might even break your heart many times within the process before it breaks up, or that might just be beginning stuff within for you to have a 50, 70-year relationship. So there's always going to be work to do within it. But knowing kind of what you're looking for, or knowing more what you're not looking for, can definitely serve attracting what it is you want to be aligned with or connect with.
So, say you've done all that and you've attracted this person who seems like they're amazing and they hit all those feelings. Like, you've been with them for a couple months and they're hitting all these feelings and they're just amazing, but you don't feel like okay, so maybe they don't feel the same way 100% back. So yes, they may fulfill all your feelings, but it's not on their end. They're not really feeling that from you.
Yeah. So let's say, like, this is a really hard thing for people to swallow. But, like, let's say this person is an orange. And let's say this person is a mandarin. All right? And the mandarin feels completely satisfied.
Oh, a mandarin.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think you said that. A mandarin.
Okay, we need to
They
put
said
a
a mantum.
No, we need to put a little emoji of that. So an orange and a little mandarin, a fruit.
Say apple.
No, because it has to be a mandarin. Because a mandarin is like, I'm talking about like along either in life or what this person needs or is looking for. So the mandarin sees the orange and is like, oh, you're everything I want. You're everything. So it's like, yes. But the orange is like, okay, yup, I'm about you. I like you. I could roll with you, but
I can also roll with
I'm trying to add a
apples
pear.
and bananas.
Right, I'm trying to add a pear to my orange. Right? I'm trying to add a pear. I'm looking, and so that, if that person is looking at you like you're a mandarin, but the mandarin's looking at the orange is like, you're an orange, you're everything. Right? So first of all, that mandarin might not have awareness of how that orange is thinking. Usually it doesn't. It's very difficult for the orange to communicate that in a direct way to the mandarin, that one, doesn't make it feel hurt, okay, or rejected, but then two, to be able to be on point and truthful with it. But for the mandarin, it has to have acceptance of letting go that this orange is its ideal thing, but it's not right for it right now. This might need to do some further growing. Let it be. Don't hate on it. Just be peaceful with the departure. Be peaceful with the will of the orange.
So are you just saying, like, they're not the one? Keep looking, girl or guy.
Keep looking. Keep not even looking. You don't even need to look or search. Like making it feel like you've lost something.
They've identified all these feelings. They've been content with being alone. They meet someone who fulfills all those feelings, and you're saying that ain't the one. I'm
saying that isn't the one for right now, because otherwise that person would be feeling it right now. It doesn't mean they can't be a month, 2 months. Feeling is just a feeling. Feeling change all the time, especially in women, in girls. They can feel this particular way about the orange, and then 6 months from now, all of a sudden they're like, looking back at the orange, like, you know what? I actually feel like a mandarin right now. Sorry, the orange is looking back, actually I feel like a mandarin right now. The pear wasn't that. You don't know. It's feelings shift and change. Alright? It doesn't mean that it can change back, but it's not for you to think about or be in your control whether it does or doesn't change back.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, what's in your control is how you react to it. And almost get empowered by it. Be like, wow, I'm so glad I met that orange. It made me feel some feelings I haven't felt in such a long time. And yay on that experience.
So being grateful for the experience?
Yeah, grateful for the experience with the orange, and letting that be in you when you're projecting forward.
Let's jump into like a heartbreak. Because that's like a good... How would you tell someone to deal. I feel like you have you'd have a lot of compassion with this because you can give insights from experiences.
Yeah.
So how would you tell someone to take a heartbreak and digest that? Would you say gratitude?
I would say digest it, taste it. Now I'm saying this because I went through one about 8 or 9 months ago, and I haven't had many heartbreaks in my life, but I think subconsciously needed this so that I could actually tell you what I'm about to tell you. When you're going through a heartbreak, sit in it. Sit in it. Taste it. Eat it. Like, let yourself feel it. Don't try and run away from it. Don't try and band-aid it up, as in like putting stuff on it. Don't try and like get all your friends and blah, 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 hating on the person, da-da-da, the same cycle that... You know what? It's going to take so long to get over it. So long. You can do those things, but if you want to shortcut it, right, you've got to sit in with it for a minute, think through it, as in use reflection, use self-analyzation, because you're not just when you're in a heartbreak, but when you're in love, when you're truly in love with someone, all right? Like you're truly, truly in love with someone. You think you're going to spend your life with them forever, which most people are in relationships where they wouldn't be there if they didn't think they were going to spend forever. And then all of a sudden that gets shifted. That's a huge adjustment. Why? Because we're humans and we have habitual energy and habitual behaviors. So just something like walking to the shop could be sad and depressing if you've just gone through a heartbreak. And in another moment, it could be the most exciting thing. You just can't wait to get to the shop and you're loving the walk and the music and so it's all a part of what your sensation is in that moment. So being aware of it, which is saying, I feel this way right now. I feel heartbroken because of X, Y, and Z. Yep, cool. Let me just sit with it. Let me just go through it a minute. I know that I'm experiencing it. It's going to end. I'm going to grow out of it and think other thoughts and move other things. It's that alone, just giving yourself the breathing space to accept your situation and being able to seriously grow from it, using it as a launch, using it as rocket fuel. I think there are only 2 things that can give you rocket fuel motivation in life. One is being broke, and 2, like broke, financially broke, and 2 is being heartbroken. Like those 2 things can rocket fuel your life. Both directions. It can rocket fuel it down, where you feel so depressed and so like a life, I want to end it, like suicidal thoughts, like can take you that rocket fuel, or it can rocket fuel you out. And that's your choice. That's your choice. And that's why it's good to have like a mentor or a coach or someone that you can vent through and that can help keep you every time you get out the car door to jump out and lose it. They can like guide you back in the car, strap your seatbelt on, hold your steering on the steering wheel and show you a map and can take you away.
Did you have that when you were going through a
Yes.
heartbreak?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
you
yeah,
did?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did they tell you?
Brian, the sickest human being that exists in the world.
What did he tell you? What was his best piece of advice? 'Cause I
It
know
wasn't
he has a lot.
even advice, because advice when you're feeling this is not really what you need. You need someone to have oneness with what you're going through. So oneness is in they've been there, 1, and 2, they have some answers for you that are beyond your own. So what I mean by that is, so with my current situation, I'm going to take it to me. I lacked caution, and with that caution that I lacked, I enabled my own destiny. I enabled that. So even though I was the one that ended it, and it was still, I broke my own heart, right? So it can make it even like worse in a sense, because it's one thing if it's not in your control, you can be like, hey, that's that person's, choice. Like, you have your own suffering and you're dealing with it. But when you're the person that did it and you're doing it for, that's 25 minutes, and you're doing it for a greater, you're doing it for a greater good, for your own health and your own life, and you make that decision that no, I do not want to choose this for the rest of my life. I do not want to choose these processes within this, even though the relationship obviously had a lot of beauty and a lot of like things that you can't get back only with that person. You understand that, you know, that in longevity, this is not going to serve you. This is not going to aid your most vibrant self. This is not going to, like, your whole self-mastery journey that most or everybody the consciousness is now trying to be on. It's not going to propel that self-mastery at all. It's actually going to do the opposite. And you know it, and you've tried it, and you've assessed it, and you've got to come to terms with that reality. You've got to come to terms with it. It takes a lot of willpower. It takes a lot of willpower from me to do something like that, and to, you know, and to cause pain not only on someone that you love, but on myself. And, you know, it's for all the right reasons. And it's not even saying that couldn't, like, come back around in another year, 10 years, 5. It's not saying that. It's just saying right now, this is not working. It's not bringing health or positivity to either of us, and being able to peacefully and gracefully let it go and have it just blended out there. And it's not, you know, throwing hate at each other and, you know, trying to attack each other, and it's not that. That's, you know, you want to have always, when you're going through a breakup, as most mature mind as you can. And that's why it's also good to have a mentor, or good to have someone that understands, so they can give you that other person's perspective, give you what that other person's going through. The answers isn't being affirmated of what you think. The answers is having what the other side is thinking and going through, so that you realize that what you're thinking and going through is just a product of your own perspective and experience. It's like someone that can see this and this and this over here and this over here, right? To get all those dimensions of clarity, and then being able to sit you in your seat, and you can just let go and be like, all right, I'm all good. And you get that wind, and that wind takes you far. And that, like, repeating those thought processes within that wind helps you smoothly sail out of the storm, so to speak.
I would definitely say from that, like, listening to that, like, be gentle with yourself, give yourself the time, and don't jump into anything else, because I feel like when, not even just with heartbreak, but like when we react off any emotion that's so, like, so much substance and, like, so rich, I feel like we do things that aren't really acting off of our true selves. So taking into everything Karen said about talking to someone who can see the situation from another perspective, and giving the time and opening your mind up to all the perspectives, and having that peace will definitely help you in that process. I know this is such a rich topic, and we would love to just go into it, and I have so many more things I would love to ask Karen about, but
we need to do a part 2 on this.
Yeah, we will do a part 2.
Because there's so much to romantic love and relationships, and I feel like people want to know, one, how to attract what they want and need. They know how to attract it, but then they need to know how to be alone to attract it.
But on that note, yes, so all those things, what I wanted to say to you guys is that we will do a part 2. I would love for you guys to comment down below, particularly like what you would like in part 2, so we can make sure we hit those topics and we have really rich discussions on this.